Hello YouTube, this is MG Survival here, and in this video I wanted to show you my last Stroud survival guide called Survive. I know I've done a review on this before, but I thought it wasn't that good and I'm planning to remake my videos. So yeah, here we go. I hope you enjoy it. So there's a lot of chapters in here. And the first one is essential tactics to get you out of anywhere alive. So basic contents, introduction, and then chapter 1, trip planning and preparation. So it's about research you have to do about the area you're going to. There's also a lot of pictures in here. Of him doing stuff and building stuff. So like starting a fire with a hand drill or building a shelter. And there's also a lot of tips in these orange squares. Again. And then chapter 2 is about survival kits. And how to make one yourself, and responsibility for your own survival. And then checklists of survival kits, like personal survival kit, your complete survival kit, again with some tips, first aid kits also, and here's some wax and cotton tube. Some more tips, and then a picture of a good survival kit, and also vehicle survival kits, and how to survive in jungles, on the sea or open water, in the Arctic and polar regions, and also coastal regions. And then chapter 3 is about the psychological aspects of survival, because if you want to get out alive, you have to be mentally very strong, because you'll get lonely, you'll get hungry probably also, and that will drop your morale. So you have to know what you're doing and take the right decisions. And there's also real world survivor stories in here, in these squares here. And then chapter 4 is about signaling and how to get rescued. So there's pictures of how to use a signaling mirror. That's pretty great. There are very good instructions in this book, and that's what I really like about it. And then also how to make a signal fire, and again a tip, some more tips, and then chapter 5 is about water and how to gather it. So there's a lot of tips in here, as you can see. That's a very good thing. Like last ditch water sources, how to make a vegetation still, etc., or a solar still, with pictures, and how to find water in the desert, and from rocks, and also from urine and animals. And then there's a little part of how to purify water. You can see him boiling some water in a plastic water bottle over here. And then chapter 6 is about fire. It's one of the most important things in a survival situation. You can see him sitting in a shelter near the fire over here. And some tips also. and how to make a chimney and some shelter. It's good that there are a lot of pictures so you can see how it looks like, etc. And then also how to carry a fire, and different fire starting tools, and last ditch fire starting tools, and how to start a fire with a magnesium flint and striker, and also how to make char cloth. You'll probably all know this, but it's good to have some nice instructions. And fire bow, fire drill, bow drill method, how to do it in different steps, as you can see. Splitting wood with a knife, how to do that, and gathering tinder. And then chapter 7 is about shelter, also very important. You can see him in his yeah, he was in Africa in that episode. I saw that. Some more pictures about the bed of your shelter. Here you can see him laying in a snow hole on top of some pine branches. Again, some shelters, the frame, windproofing and waterproofing the shelter. And yeah. And then lean-tos, long-term shelters, etc. There's a lot of different shelters in this book. That's very great. I love it. And I have tested some of them. So how to make a snow cave. And then chapter 8 is about food. And how to fish, different fishing methods, how to catch and prepare critters, yeah, fishing techniques, how to catch game. Here's some figure 4 deadfall and some traps, the Paiute deadfall, and then some more about hunting, cooking and preserving, and also eating, carrion and charcoal, and then where you can find what kind of food. And then yeah, I see I'm running out of time, so I'll be back to you in the next part. So yeah, I'll be right back. So we're back now, and so chapter 9 is survival, travel and navigation. And again, a real world survivor. And making a makeshift carry bag. You can see some pictures over here. Traveling by water, crossing water, making rafts. The map, basic survival navigation. Taking your bearings without a map, and how to use a compass. And then a topographic map. So making a bearing with a map, and how to use a map as well. Making improvised compasses with needles. Yeah, you all know that. And using shadows and the sun to determine your direction. And also the stars and the moon. And then how to make a some protective glasses in the Arctic or polar regions, using a piece of an emergency blanket or some birch bark. And then chapter 10 is about dangers and hazards, predators, weather, dangerous animals. You can see the sharks and how to secure your shelter from predator attacks. And early warning systems, dangerous animals, etc. Creepy crawlies, poisonous plants as well, dehydration, lack of sleep, starvation, cold weather. These are all things you will have to deal with in a survival situation. And then the deserts, canyons, arid regions, boreal and other temperate forests, jungles, and open sea or open water, Arctic and polar regions, coastal regions, mountains, and then group versus solo survival, a little part about that. And then chapter 11 is about the weather, about weather versus climate, ways to predict weather, and how to interpret weather signs. The sky, dangerous weather. Hurricanes, thunderstorms and lightning storms, blizzard and wind chill, sandstorms, etc. And then chapter 12, is about clothing, because clothing is your primary shelter. You'll probably survive about 2 hours without the proper clothing. And then traditional or high-tech gear, that's the question. And then when clothing kills, keep it dry and clean. Making clothing, extra is always better. Footwear, region-specific clothing considerations about different areas of the world. And then chapter 13 is about survival first aid, also very important because you can get stuck between a rock or underneath a tree or something. And hygiene is important. And then major injuries and illness, shock, burns, joint injuries, and how to cure them. Bites and stings, headache, sickness and disease, bleeding, diarrhea, blisters, wounds, infections, altitude sickness, and then again group versus solo survival. And then chapter 14 is about essential survival skills. Only reading them is not enough, you have to practice them. So go out, buy yourself a little fire starter, and practice using them. And then things like twisting rope, making rope from sinew, making knots, and different knots, figure eight, clovage, making knives, splitting a rock to make an edge to cut with, and then knives from wood, and then a lot of other things. Here it says my favorite MacGyverisms, so fishing with gun, etc. Kinda crazy things, and making knives from glass and stuff. And here you can see him in Africa again, with his knife, used as a tip for a hunting spear. And then he carrying a torch and using snowshoes, homemade snowshoes. And then chapter 15, and that's probably the last chapter. Yeah, it is. It's about when disaster strikes close to home. So this is basically urban survival. You can see planning and preparation, signaling, water, fire, shelter, food, the most important things, and then travel and navigation, dangers and hazards, weather, first aid, essential survival skills. And then there is a author's note, and then on the back there are checklists of any kind of survival kits: personal survival kit, complete survival kit checklist, vehicle survival kit, first aid kit, home survival kit, and then continued, and then acknowledgements as well. And then there's the index on the back. And then another really cool thing is these last pages are fire starters, and that's kind of cool. 2 pages. That's really funny. So yeah, I hope you learned a lot from this book, and I hope you enjoyed the video. And I definitely recommend buying this book. So you can buy it on Amazon. Yeah, I don't know where else. You can probably find it anywhere. So yeah, thanks for watching. Please rate, comment, and subscribe.